This is going to be a video about Uncharted 4. So Uncharted 4, in my opinion, is one of the best games from last generation. So, and it is so cool, right? But this game does so many things right, from the, you know, a gameplay to the gunplay to the graphics to the stealth to the climbing mechanics to the visuals to the voice acting, etc. So Uncharted 4 is labeled, a thief's end, right? So this is kind of a conclusion to the Nathan Drake story, right? The thing about Uncharted 4, there are flashbacks in this one, right? Which is pretty cool. There's a lot of cool, action sequences, like these cool Hollywood action sequences. A very epic. Lots of epicness in this one. Driving sequences, stealth sequences, right? A lot of shootout sequences, especially near the end of the game. Lots of shootout sequences. So the interesting part about this game, right? So kind of like a spoiler, right? But the game has been out for almost like a decade. But the interesting thing is that there's like an origin story at the Nathan Drake and how he got at the last name. Well, I kind of a made up last name Drake, right? So there's a cool scene like in this flashback where you learn that Nathan's real last name was actually a Nathan Morgan, right? So Nathan Morgan and his brother's name was Sam Morgan. So it is pretty interesting. Going into the actual gameplay, so the gameplay of the game, there's lots of different stuff about the game. The thing about Naughty Dogs, in terms of, especially from the time they did so many things right, from the gunplay, everything felt so solid, from to the stealth to the climbing. This one, the gameplay wise, has a lot of climbing segments, lots of climbing up ledges, climbing up mountain areas, or climbing up buildings, side of a building, etc. And just the detail, it's very easy to catch on to what you can climb onto versus what you can't climb onto. So it is very easy to catch those details, because there's lots of detail in the architecture, or the just the structure of the environment. This one introduced the rope. So there's this swing, this kind of rope that you basically kind of, it gets you from point, from a gap, right? So you can cross a gap very easily with this rope. There's also this thing that like a stick. So the stick, which basically allows you to stick on to certain slippery surfaces, like when you're climbing. Later on, in the game, it is very useful. Also, too, with the gameplay, involves a lot of stealth. There's also a lot of stealth segments. Now, I am not good at stealth, in these types of games, but the stealth, it is very basic, hide in tall grass areas, right, or tall bush-like areas, and then you're less likely to be seen. Then you basically sneak up on an enemy, take him out, etc. But it's still, there are more shootout sequences, lots of shootout sequences in this game. Shooting out sequences, you take cover and you shoot enemies. But the thing about this one has lots of enemy waves coming at you, especially near the end of the game where it gets pretty crazy. And some of the enemies are very armored, like these cool ass armored juggernaut soldier enemies coming at you, and you gotta go for the headshot. Going for the headshot, it is the best way to escape these scenarios quicker, right? The aiming, I had an aiming problem with my controller where the camera kept on going up. The camera was, because the controller had a damage on it, so the camera kept on kind of jumping slightly, right? So I had an aiming problem. But the gunplay, the sound effects are from the guns. They sound so realistic. They sound very realistic. The recoil is very well done. The feel for the guns are very real, right? And the immersion from it. There's pistols, there's SMGs, assault rifles, there's snipers, shotguns, etc. In a lot of the shootout sequences, you'll obviously feel outnumbered, as with any of the previous, Uncharted games, right? The thing, due to the video game logic of it, is that you're basically one man, or you'll have one other a companion taking out 20 groups of soldiers, right? And that is the video game logic of it, right? Even though it might not make sense, but I guess it does make sense, because it is a video game, and one, and two, Nathan Drake was in lots of these scenarios in previous games. So based on experience, he will be obviously a pretty good with a gun. There are puzzles to implement it in the gameplay, right? As an Uncharted game isn't without like its puzzles. There are puzzles, right? You're gonna match. There's one where you're gonna match a sequence of these pictures, right? So you match the pictures together to kind of match the what do you call it again? The symbols, right? So the symbols you match them, right, to activate at the next part of the puzzle. There's another puzzle where there's the bells in this the a Madagascar, kind of like this Madagascar church, and you go up. There's like a scorpion logo, and then there's kind of like a like this a Poseidon logo, and like a lion and a bull logo. And then you gotta ring each bell in a certain order. In terms of like are you guys are trying to find do puzzles? Are you guys are basically doing puzzles and clues, trying to get to like Avery's treasure set, and it's basically like a bunch of treasure which is worth up to like $400 million, and that's what this game is all leading up to, right? There's a cool sequences like in the game, right? As you're gonna have, a very cool like dialogue moments, like, and the dialogue in this game, especially right for 10 years ago, it is amazing. Just the voice acting and the facial, a design and facial features, and just the facial muscles, how they move in the cutscenes, it is amazing. And yeah, so as well with the Uncharted 4 story is that it's kind of like it's very much a story of Nathan and his brother, right? And this is like the finale, right? For this Saint Dismas Cross is the finale, right? So and since Nathan Drake was a kid and with his brother, they always fantasize about finding this treasure, right? And it's a pirate, so it's based on Henry Avery, a pirate that lived in the 17th century from 1640 to 1699. And yeah, he's like the main a lot of the focus is on him, the legend of him, right? Trying and Nathan Drake and his brother, they're trying to live up to that, right? But they're trying to find this treasure, and there's other characters in the game too. Sully is brought back into the game, and this annoying character, Nadine, right? And as well as this new villain kind of character, Rafe, right? And as well, they're the military. There's like a private military group coming after you. I can't remember what they call it again, right? But yeah, they're coming after you. But the story as well. The story, like I said before, is gonna have its flashbacks. A great part about this one is that it really gives you that origin, of Nathan Drake, how he got the name. It was a pretty cool how they did that twist. Just like within Uncharted 3 looked at how Nathan met Sully, right? So Sully, he's the old guy that helped you, and then he's big like in his franchise as a very important character. But with Uncharted 3, they showed how Nathan met Sully. What was it in Argentina, right? In terms of the visuals of the game, the visuals, especially for the time, the visuals, it is probably the best looking PS4 game. I'm just talking PS4 game, obviously not talking about PS5. But like for the address, the amount of detail in the vegetation, in the sceneries, like you go to this Caribbean kind of island, or where is it again? Madagascar? No, Kings Bay. Kings Bay, I believe it's somewhere in the a Caribbean, South American area, and just the scenery of the sea line areas, the huge and the tall tree areas, the bush areas. It is so colorful and so highly saturated. It looks literally like real life. Like this looks visually so real. Also, as well, like in some of the you go to Scotland in the game, Scotland, and you go to this kind of like mountain, rocky area, muddy area, and it looks very, very realistic. Even in the character design, the character models, like I said before, they all look super realistic. And Nathan Drake, they did kind of redesign his face a little bit, right? It is obviously the same voice actor, but they redesigned his face to kind of match up with the PS4 graphics. In the PS3, or sorry, the early PS3 days, Nathan Drake looked different than how he does now. Same with like his wife, right? Sully, right, as well, and yeah. In the sound design as well, like in the guns, like I mentioned before, the sound design, the climbing, the footsteps, everything done so well. The explosives, the sound effects, etc. Now, in terms of like, there are collectibles in the game, right? Collecting like these cool treasures. More like bonuses, right? You don't have to do it, but yeah, it is pretty good to do it. And if you're a trophy hunter, I don't really, because I can mostly play games to have fun. But if you wanna get all the PlayStation trophies, platinum, I would imagine you gotta get all the kind of bonus treasures, right? Treasures. It's good to like in certain sequences or areas explore every corner, right? That see if you can find. And it's like you'll see like a white dot, like something that's shining like on the ground, right? It is shining, and then you gotta pick that thing up, right? That is the treasure. Other stuff too in the game, you can unlock character showcase models, and I think after for a new game plus bonus, you can customize the character, make like a Nathan Drake, the a prison uniform or the Italian, the auction Nathan Drake uniform, right? The home Nathan Drake uniform, etc. Multiplayer, I never actually played a multiplayer. I never played a multiplayer in this game. Probably only once, because I don't have access to PlayStation Plus. And I've, a PlayStation, the multiplayer, the old PlayStation Plus thing is stupid because you gotta pay to play online, which is dumb. That is dumb. But like with, the multiplayer, I would imagine, right, it is, because I played Uncharted 3 multiplayer, I would imagine, and I saw gameplay of Uncharted 4 multiplayer. Yeah, it looks pretty fun. Let me know down below if the servers work for it, though. Let me know down below if the servers work. And yeah, Uncharted 4 is it is obviously one of the most common PS4 games in terms of, it is very easy to find, very easy to find. You'll find it anywhere, like in a Walmart or wherever you go. A GameStop, your local retro game store, right? It is very easy to find this game, right? Yeah, so that's Uncharted 4. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.